June 30th, 7 a.m. I thought I'd give you the kind of the big picture here. You can see Seattle down here, and Calvert Island is where we're going to be that day. I'm going to zoom in here and get started. I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm going to try and capture the whole screen so I can show you what we're doing with the Noveltech software here. Been using this for quite a while for the planning now, and it really comes in handy, especially with these tides and currents. Now that we're on this side of Queen Charlotte's Sound, we're going to be leaving on the low tides to get the flood in, as opposed to leaving on the high tides and catching the ebb out before. So leaving Calvert Island here, 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll go through this real pretty little pass up here. There's a big fish camp situated back in here. It's hard to see. I think it's back in this little island. We'll see it when we go by. We're going to run this again at 7 knots. Getting out of Pruth Bay. We'll see a little bit of ocean here. Hawkeye Passage. You see this mark up here. We've always managed to catch a salmon going by this kind of steep tube. Following the blue line here, we do a little trolling. So we'll slow down so we can see if we can catch a salmon going by. Fitzhugh Sound. Hopefully we'll see some whales here. We usually see humpbacks in Fitzhugh Sound. Headed for Bella Bella here. We're going to speed this up just a little bit so we can get up around the corner. Through Fitzhugh Sound, make a hard left here through Llama Pass. Again, there's a couple of good fishing spots to be had along here, so if we didn't have any luck before, we'll try it again. Some of the boats will want to stop here at Bella Bella. We're going to try and slide past Shearwater this year. Shearwater's up in here. It's a good stop with a marina. But we can get fuel out here and give Shearwater a pass and go into Anchorage. It's Shearwater's moorage is getting a little bit expensive, and if we don't have to stop for repairs, we'll keep going and anchor for the night. This will be kind of a shortish day with fuel and water in Bella Bella. We'll be getting into our anchorage about 1:30. May take an hour or so, depending on how many boats line up for the fuel dock here. It's one, maybe two boats at a time at the fuel dock in New Bella Bella. So we'll get into this little anchorage. I've looked at this going by. We've never stopped here before, but there's plenty of room for all of us to get in here. And with a start the next day, we're going to be going out on the tide, so we're going to switch our routes here. Our next route for the day is Kynumpt Harbor to Bottleneck Inlet. Leaving in the morning, let's see, we're going to change this to July 1st. So that will be Wednesday, July 1st. And we're going to be battling the tide here a little bit. I don't think there's no way around that, but we want to get out of here fairly early in the morning, 7 o'clock. Again, we're going to try and do some fishing today. We've got a favorite spot up here. You can see the check the tide is coming in, so we'll get out around the corner here into Millbank Sound. Millbank Sound, again, we'll see a little bit of the ocean influence there. It's real pretty, real rugged rocks in here. We're going to stop at this Fellows Rocks up here and see if we can do a little bottom fishing. We're going to be looking for a halibut around here. We've done pretty well here in the past. We'll try these 80 to 100 foot drop-offs here where it goes from 80 feet to 200 we can get down and maybe catch a yellow eye or a halibut. And then once we have something for dinner, we'll move on up to Bottleneck Inlet here. Finlayson Channel, pretty straightforward. We'll have a nice little push with the tide, you can see there. And then Bottleneck Inlet. Gets real narrow, there's a few trees here. It's only about 9 feet deep on a low tide. We're going to be going in close to a high tide, so shouldn't have any problem with that. Bottleneck is a real pretty little spot. Let's see, depending on how long we take fishing, we can get in there at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock or so. 3 o'clock will be nice. There's some nice kayaking, and there's a creek that runs up here. We can't get too far up the creek with the kayaks. It's pretty shallow in there. You see this mark here, a logging road, an old abandoned logging operation that came up here, and it's about 1.25 miles up to this lake. So if we got time and the weather looks nice, we might take a little walk up in the woods there and see what we can find. Okay, next route. Bottleneck Inlet to Coetzee Inlet. 29 miles, 30 miles here to go. Low tide is at 8:30, so if we get out of here about 8 o'clock, set this at 8 o'clock on Tuesday, July the 2nd. Started and catch the flood in as we go here. Finlayson Channel, usually pretty quiet in here. I've seen a whole lot of wildlife up this way. Going by Sarah Island. We've got at Heckish Narrows, we're going to have a little bit of current in our favor. We've got one current marker here. By the time we get here, we'll have almost a knot of flood coming in with us. Let's see, we'll probably not want to drive on the dirt here, so let's adjust our course just a little bit. Clean this up. And then we'll get moving again. We'll give Horsefly Cove and Green Inlet a pass. It's not real good holding up here, fairly deep all the way up to the shore. So, been in there once before, didn't really care for it. Gonna stop. There's 2 anchorages here at Khutze Inlet on the river. If you're just gonna stop for a quick stop at night, there's an anchorage out here towards the inlet. We're gonna get all the way back up here and anchor in front of the waterfall. This is kind of a tricky inlet here to anchor in. You can see it's pretty deep out here. We're going to be tucked in here pretty close, and this area of sandspit changes pretty dramatically over the years. Since this chart has been made, the river has created a sandspit that comes all the way out in here. So we're going to want to get the boats anchored in here. It's going to be pretty tight for all of us, so we'll stretch out, get out into the deeper water. You want to be real cautious with the sandspit. Last year we caught lots of crab in here. We hoped to see bears out on the flat in the morning, but the fish were late, and so there were no bears to be seen. A real pretty ride in the dinghies up the Coetzee River here. We can get up there about a mile or so before we get into kind of a log jam and a bit of a waterfall. Not much. It's only about 2 or 3 feet, but it keeps the dinghies out. Hopefully we'll see some bears up there this year.